Hello and welcome back to the Vintage Paintball Laboratories. Today I'm excited to introduce to you a new O-ring kit that we just released for the Vanquish platform. They are the very same O-rings that we release and put into all of our custom Vanquish builds, and the very same O-rings that I use in my custom Vanquish, that I've had for quite some time. Now you're probably asking yourself, Tony, why do I want to use different O-rings in my Vanquish? Well, I've had my gun since the very beginning, and as a lot of you probably remember, and a lot of you probably don't remember, the Vanquishes have had a history of hiccups with their service record and reliability factors. The biggest thing was the puff thing that most people have experienced and complained about on the internet. These O-rings will completely eliminate that problem. The first shot drop that most Vanquishes suffer from at some point in their life is another thing that this will take care of. So why don't you guys follow me to the back? We're going to jump into my gun and replace the O-rings that have worn out into my gun, and I'm going to teach you guys how to do it at the same time. Here's my bolt kit. We're going to start by disassembling it. Make sure that you remove your bolt face before you take it apart. We're going to start with the bolt cap. We're going to replace the number 17 O-ring right inside of here. We're going to set that off to the side. Next, we're going to move on to the bolt guide, and we're going to replace these two number 13 O-rings. We're going to start by taking them off. And we'll grab the number 13s from our kit. Then we're going to set that off to the side. Now we're going to move on to the air guide. We're going to need this without the O-rings inside of it so we can test the fitment of our bolt sail O-ring. And that will help us determine whether or not we're going to go with our number 16 in white or our number 16 in black. So now I'm going to take these three internal O-rings out of the air guide. Be very careful not to scratch the internal surface of the O-ring gland. Now that we have the three internal O-rings removed, we're going to be able to check the fitment of our sail O-ring on our bolt and how well it fits with this particular air guide. And that will determine whether or not we're going to use the number 16 in white or the number 16 in black. First, we're going to remove the current O-ring that's on the bolt. We're going to start with our black number 16 because that one is going to fit the loosest out of the O-rings. Now we're going to take our air guide and we're going to insert the bolt backwards into the air guide so we can see how well it fits in there. So, as you can see, it does slide back in there and I can feel the O-ring. Now the way that we're going to check it is we're going to hold the can like this and we're going to give it a shake. Now if you guys can see, the bolt is wanting to fall out of there. That's because with this particular air guide and this particular bolt, the tolerances are a little bit looser. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the white O-ring, which is going to make up for that tolerance difference. So we're going to remove this one. We're going to save that one for later. We're going to go to our kit and grab the white O-ring. Number 16 for the sail. Now that we have that one on there, we're going to do the same test. Now you guys can see that bolt wants to stay put, which means we have a very good seal between the air guide and the bolt sail O-ring, which is going to ensure our gun fires when we want it to and doesn't make any puff sounds or have any first shot drop. Now that we've established what color O-ring we need to use on our bolt sail, we're going to set the bolt to the side for just a few moments until we get some O-rings installed in this guy, and then we're going to check fitment on our air guide with our bolt. We're going to start with the included number 17 O-rings that go on the inside of this, and we're going to test fitment with those first. Okay, now you can see we have all three of the black NASA O-rings installed into our bolt guide. The front one on all of your bolt kits should be the black NASA O-ring, and these two internal ones are the two that we're going to have to check fitment on to decide whether or not we're going to be using the white ones or the black ones. We're going to grab our bolt, and we're going to slide these two pieces together, and I'm going to show you guys what you're looking for. These two O-rings on the inside and the middle are what we're going to test here. Hopefully you guys can see this. Alright, so now you can see the bolt is in there, and we're not on the bolt sail. We're only testing these two O-rings, and we're only going to feel those two O-rings. Now we're going to do the old shake test and see what happens. Alright, so she's pretty loose, but she's doing okay. First we're going to start with the second O-ring, which is closest to the front of the bolt. Hopefully you guys can see that right there. We're going to grab the number 17 white O-ring. Just one of them for now. And we're going to install it down inside of there where the empty gland is. You guys can surely see that down in there now. Grab our bolt. And you see that she's still not wanting to grab. So we're going to move on to the second O-ring. Slide it together here. And we're going to see that it's grabbing a little bit better than before, but not as well as it was with the front O-ring when it was black. So we're going to go back in there, we're going to change that front one back to a black O-ring, and I think we're going to be set. Getting the internal O-rings into the air guide can sometimes be difficult. I find it best if you use your small finger and insert the O-ring into the rear of the air guide and get the O-ring started into the gland, and then work your way around the air guide, slowly pushing the O-ring into the gland. Test fitment one more time. As you can see, that's our best fitting combination, and that's what we're going to stick with. These ones you want to be tight, but not quite as tight as the sail O-ring. You're looking for the best combination to get the best seal with these two O-rings, whether they be white or black. And that's going to ensure that your gun's going to function every time you pull the trigger without any first shot drop or puffing issues. Now that we have all that taken care of, we're going to set the O-rings, the new O-rings to the side. We're going to throw these other ones away, and we're going to reassemble the bolt kit. Now that we've determined what O-rings to use, we're going to lube the bolt and reassemble it. We're going to use Dow 33, and I'm just going to quickly show you guys the reassembly and lubing, and then we're going to be all set. Well folks, there you have it. We just installed the NASA O-ring kit into my personal Vanquish. Now you go out and follow the directions that I just gave you and install them in your Vanquish, and you'll have a solid working gun for a good long time. If you don't want to install the O-ring kit into your own gun, you're more than welcome to send it to us. We will install and tune your gun and get it back in your hands as quickly as possible. You can send us an email or give us a call about that. As always, we appreciate you guys watching. If you want to purchase this O-ring kit, you can find it on our online store along with all of our other vintage swag, which is very cool. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.